Welcome to Stock and Options Trading Unlocked.
If you want to learn how to make 6 or 7 figures a year trading 2 hours a day, this is the show for you.
We're here to talk about everything trading, weekly news, tips, and special guests to get you motivated and profitable.
Don't forget, everything you hear is opinion only and not to be considered financial advice.
Here are your hosts, Atul Patel and David Picard.
All right. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Let me just adjust the view a little bit so that we can see everyone equally. Gallery view. There we go. Hey, guys. How are you?
Great. Doing awesome. How you doing?
So for those, I'm Spectre.
David. Aaron.
Yeah, so welcome to our Stocks and Options Trading Unlocked. This is episode 4. And tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about trading confidence and why that's important.
Get me going on a rant.
So we're going to do the format of the show a little bit different. Just a wild day today, and we normally start off with talking just how was your guys' day, and then we'll talk about a little bit market madness, and then we'll go and maybe talk about some bets, and then we'll get into the education portion, and then about the trading confidence. Does that sound good for everyone?
Sounds great. Lead the way. Let's do this.
All right, great. So, market madness.
Up next, market madness.
Sorry, I love that thing. I know, like, gotta get that Kramer thing going. But yeah. So the market's been a little wild, huh, everyone?
It's been a ride. I love the range. Absolutely love the range. It's my day trading.
I'm just gonna. It's not often. Target met. Remember a month ago? What did I say? SPY.
Yeah.
380 to 390 is the target.
And you said this week.
And I said by the second week of May. And we got it. So target met, but then you can't. What does that mean? Like sometimes you forget. And now it's kind of like, okay, now I'm looking for the possible bounce. I think we're gonna have one more big flush. I mean, can you believe Apple hit 139, 140 today? And then Microsoft, there was a big dark pool buy. I don't know if you guys saw, like last week, I think at 260.
I did.
And my thought on the whole thing was when 260 breaks or gives way, flush.
Yeah, I mean, I think today Apple probably was a little bit impacted with the overall selling. And I think they probably, it was a little oversold in the fact that maybe some had to sell off their Apple positions for any potential margin cover and stuff like that. So I think that will have a little bit of a bounce. But once again, in a market like this, it's going to rip and roar in every direction. So you got to be careful and play it right, play it tight.
Yeah, you nailed the short on Amazon today for a few points.
That was beautiful. I mean, it was strictly risk reward.
You're so humble. How many points did you get on
number
that?
2.
It was a whole number. I mean, it was sitting right around 2,200. It had already gone off VWAP. It went 100 points. It hit 2 to 3 levels of yours. It popped through, showed beautiful exhaustion.
Yeah, it was
retested the
so
level,
clean.
failed. And then it was like, boom, 70 points to the downside to the next level in VWAP, the risk reward. It was, $200 a contract of risk against the low a day on. It was just a beautiful setup. It's kind of my bread and butter of what I honestly look for.
Yeah, and it's been killing it. You've been back to back like double digit gains for I don't even like how many days. I don't even remember now.
since I got back from the hospital.
That baby's been good luck. Oh yeah, by the way, congratulations, David.
Thank you.
Congratulations, big news there. So we missed last week's episode because, you know,
Had to have a little baby.
David was receiving a baby.
Right. I was catching. The dolphins in the shoe comes hurling at me. You know why?
But now, like with your trade there, you know that's the setup you love, right? Because I've noticed that's been your killer setup more than once occasion that you wait for that. So here's a neat thing, I think. Where you rushed it, you didn't even take any trades in the first hour today, right? Like you weren't even around.
I wasn't even worried about it.
And
that's been common though, because SPX, I've noticed it too, where it's like it almost wants to fake me out, and then I'm like, no, I have to wait for it. Mm-hmm. And it's not always the first level, watch the PA around it. Sometimes it needs to really make that move.
Yeah. And you want to let those you want right now. So right now we're kind of in a large sell program, right? I'd say. I mean, we might be near the end of it. I'm not sure, but the trick of it, I think, is that you want these squeezes to happen, and then get in on the exhaustion. And those are like because the reliability goes up, so you can be confident about it.
Someone had messaged me about the trade, and they were like, "Hey, I really saw. Thanks for explaining what you saw." And one of my comments was it had just ran 100 points, 70 points, and if you look at the different, it was 70 points from the consolidation level for that breakout, from your level to the next one. And it was just so spot on. Of course, you're going to have profit taking. Like, I mean, it's just what's going to happen. And it's what I'm looking to take advantage of.
And it's kind of crazy, right? Like when we look at this, the levels, do the levels give you confidence about like where to start looking for these turns?
It's the system.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not confidence. I'll go on a rant later about confidence. Yeah. It's an emotion. I try to remove confidence in general from anything. I know the levels work. That's the difference. It's the system that I follow and adhere to. If for me, it's math, it's risk reward, it's I need to follow my rules, follow systems that I put in place, because I know if I do that and I control myself, everything else takes care of itself. I just know the levels work. I don't need to be confident in that because they work day in and day out. It's not confidence. It's just, okay, if it's off a buck or two, penny, don't matter. But they're perfect. Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
This will be a fun conversation because I think we have different perspective on confidence. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, no, which is great, right? Because there's definitely good ways of looking at it, and both are productive, I think. But and he goes, no, mine's right. Like, but yeah. So we've had this. We've had this. What about coin?
Take it out to the woodshed.
So did you guys like? One of the guys was telling me here that Coinbase has $7 or $8 billion in cash.
Yeah.
All right. So they were at, I think they closed around $55 today, or $50 or $60.
What's the market cap?
When I last looked, it was 12 billion. So if you think about it, if it's at $60 and 12 billion, then when it was at $40 this morning,
it's cash value.
It was cash value, right? And I think in the pre-market prep, I said, "Hey, at 40, I like it long, right?"
Yep.
First
15 minutes, it came right to 40.
And it went right to the 40 level that we had on the watch list. And guess what? If you took it, you would have been buying it for cash value on the company, right? And that's why remember hey guys, I missed out on it. I'll be completely upfront.
Yeah.
I had the plan. I saw that. I was in other trades. I honestly, I did not expect coin to be at 40 right near the open.
Yeah.
And so I missed it. And that's where I was like all like bitter because like, I just need to preset some orders. Like just gotta always do that because I can't always watch it. But I know what those levels are and what they mean. And I was a little annoyed at myself for that. So, but it still had a great morning and a phenomenal morning.
What did you trade this morning? Tell us about it. Come on.
Let's see. What did I do? I
You do some Tesla, if I remember
I
correctly.
know I did some Tesla. I think I did some SPY. I think I also did some Amazon. I just don't remember. It's like that was like 6 hours ago.
So long.
It was so long ago, like 7 hours ago. That's like I don't remember. But
Like a swing trade for
I
you.
did nail those. I mean, yeah, it was great. So I just followed our process, and when it became apparent that the idea that the gap down reversal was in effect, hammered it long, because the reward was significant compared to the risk.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the key to confidence. There's the same thing when you're pre-market prep. That actually helped me just mentally get in that mindset of like, hey, remember, gap down reversal could be in play. And I was in Amazon the moment it came back over VWAP within that first 15 minutes. Immediately just got in. Didn't even think about it. I didn't even worry. I was like, know what it's about to do, and then rode it all the way up to 2,200. And it was just like, you just have to like trust in the process and know, okay, this is what it's doing. You got to look at the price action.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to remember, like the reason why I was when you have multiple things line up, you got to take the bet, right? You could be wrong, but you got to take the bet. As long as you manage your size properly and your risk, you got to take the bet. And we had 5 days of large selling, and then we have a gap down.
5 days. Yep.
Right? I would just say, it's just one of those things that if you've been around the market long enough, it just happens to play out that way. So we take advantage of it. And then we also take advantage of our ability to see exhaustion.
That's what's great about this community and group. I mean, it's all planned out. We're always talking about it, and everything is just it's systemized.
Yeah, like even yesterday, right? Because we were initially long, and I was like, hey, because I let me phrase this. My whole plan was the 390 flush today to tomorrow. But yesterday, I was really praying to the trading gods to give me a rip up to 408 or so, maybe 410, 412, so I can get a bigger short on the way down, right?
Yeah.
And so we were looking at that price action yesterday, and we got over, and I think I even tweeted about this, and I'm like, it needs to get over that 405 if there's any chance of a pop, and if it gets back over below that 402.70, then we're going to get a sell program later, right? And sure enough, at the end of the day, sell program, and it flushed out, but it was all process, right? Because it was a setup that we know that failed breakout reversal, and that's one of my most favorite setups.
And the key is today is like, and probably so many people had FOMO after they finally registered of what was happening. And it's not chasing like Dave, like you were saying. It's like, you know what? I know this thing's gonna just go crazy, but I know eventually there's gonna be some profit taking because this is just a blow off. And sure enough, you knew, okay, find the exhaustion point. What time was it that it actually started doing that? I think it was right at 11:30. Timing, levels, everything just sort of played out to know when to reverse. So you just had the patience. You didn't just jump in.
No, you don't just jump in. You just wait for things to.
Reason.
You want things to align, and when it does, it's pretty awesome, right? Like it's huge gains possible, and especially on days like this. So let's see. There's anyone want to talk about any $1,000 bets potential and the returns?
Today or when?
Yeah, anytime this week that you have anything off the top of your mind, things you remember?
My bet today was the 2130 puts. on the 2200 Amazon Pop exhaust breakdown was risking $200 on the contract versus the low a day. Okay. So my risk was about $200, and I took my first profit, which was about $2,000. So it was 10 back. Ended up going to about 60 total, and so it was a runner.
Did you get the 2100s or no? You got it probably closer.
2130. No,
Yeah.
I went to. I love targeting the levels because that's where you take profit. And one of the things that you learn is when it's at the money, you got some jacked up premium because you have it's filthy delta at that point. Whatever's happening with the vols, it gets it's exciting. Gets excited. So I like when the contracts prices get excited. That means I get to sell them.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty. That's so great work. And the thing is, what's great about it, it's not random. It's not like you guessed, right? It's not like I'm guessing that. No, there's actually a process, and then you were able to actually kind of go, hey, look, if it does this, and then it gets to this, you have an idea of when to sell. You have an idea of when to enter, and you have an idea of what it should do rather than try like that's one of the hard things that when people, why did I start building the process and the system that I did, right? It was to take the guesswork out because I'm lazy. And I was exhausted by looking at every candle. Like, you make the plan, you put alerts in place, or you put your profit orders in place, or your stops, and you can let things go do whatever it needs to do.
The hardest thing about that trade, sitting on your hands, right? Not taking your hands to the mouse. That's it. That was the hardest part about that trade. I'll be honest.
Yeah, because you're saying $1,000. No, yes, but you're like, I know what it's supposed to do.
It's going to go to the next level, and not only that, the risk is worth the reward. I'm risking $200 to look to make, once again, $2,000, $4,000. I'm not looking to make $300 on that. To me, I work too hard for my money. It's not worth it. I don't want to risk $200 to make $200.
No,
it's not exciting.
It was crazy today. I wasn't feeling very good, and I also had a bunch of other business work to do. So this morning, when I saw what was happening, I got in, and I literally just got in, set my stop, and kept on working. Didn't even look. And I think that is what got me to where I needed to go, on those contracts. I always give too much away too soon or get in that scalping mentality instead of getting in and then just set a timer and be like, all right, when such and such time comes around, go look at the charts and see what it does, or put in your orders.
Yeah.
And that's what happened today. As in, I just
congratulations.
got out of my way.
Nice earrings, by the way.
Little AirPods.
I'm
gonna do.
I'm teasing. When I was looking at it, it reminded me of the earrings where they put them in the earlobes and not earrings, but I don't know what they're called, the lobe rings, or
they're gauging his ears.
The ones that like expand your earlobes and I was like, Aaron's going for a new style.
But David, I'm curious too. So today, when you entered at that 2200, you just because the going up was a lot quicker than the going down. At least today.
Yeah, you needed a little bit of patience. My entry was pretty great, meaning I waited, it popped through, I waited for the retest. I wanted to watch price action around that. Then I saw it kept getting, if you looked at the wicks on the bars around that time, it kept any buyers were met with hard selling pressure, and they were pretty much causing flat candles. Saw that for 2 minutes. That was my entry sign that we're about to dump. I got in. It must have been a minute after it was a $10 candle down in the downward pressure started. So for me, maybe it was red $20. I don't know, maybe. So I didn't even have time to pay attention because the next thing I looked and we were at 2190, pushing 2188, bouncing there, which was fine because once again, great entry.
Yep.
I don't need to worry about it then.
I'm glad you.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm glad you said something to the group. I didn't get a chance to do that today. I had a trend line. I had an alert, and as soon as it alerted, when it came back and retested the 2200, I got in, and then it just was slow. And then I sold too soon. I didn't wait till bebop because sometimes it'll just sort of hold it. But that's what I'm learning is you got the perfect entry. It retested the 2200. Just walk away.
So
just let the 200. It's a $200 bet. Size yourself appropriate. So if you're struggling with that,
I do
size down. Yeah, but go to 1 if you're worried about it.
yeah, take 1, take profit. So now your other one's covered, paid for. Now you can just whatever happens.
Yeah. Remember, nothing wrong with a 3x. So let's say on that trade I risked $200. I could have took $600 in profit for a T1, right? Perfect. That's a process. So I'm okay with that. That's what I love to do, right? A 3x is a great T1, even if it's not a level, because that means my next one, now I can force myself by process going, where is my real target? Because that's the 10 bag.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if you've got your 3x profit, even if it comes back, worst case, you made 1.5x or something if you sold half of it. Just right? It's not bad. But say that you have a crazy candle that comes to wreck you, right? Yep. Guess what? That profit that gave you their 3x, you can't lose. You're still going to be net profitable. Right? Well, I mean, depending on your risk, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, you're protected.
Patience does pay.
And
patience pays. Guys,
planning.
This range, if you're expecting a $70 move level to level, you best believe there's going to be $10 wicks. I mean, come on. It's just, your products, right? You're trading Amazon. You're not trading Apple. Know your products. If I trade NQ, which is the NASDAQ futures, it's much different than the ES. They move completely different.
Yeah.
Know how Tesla moves. Know everything you move. I trade very few products. And the reason is because I master them and I want to own them. That's it. I don't need to trade everything. I need to trade what works for me.
And then that goes back to the confidence. When I talked to you, David, I guess a month or so ago, that changed my perspective. And since then, my whole trading has changed. As in, I only focus on SPX, maybe a few other tickers. Beforehand, I used to just hammer myself like looking at charts and like studying, and it's like, no, if you just master a few, I mean, and just execute very well, your confidence just gets so much better.
And once again, it's not about each trade. It's just about the whole thing.
The whole
at the end
system.
of the day, the process is the home run. And that's what it goes back to. It goes back to Spectre's doing all the work in the morning for you, right? We have this program set up for everyone's success. We're doing the pre-market work. He's sitting there, he's getting up, cranking this workout, doing the analysis, saying, hey, here's what's going to move today. So, our members don't have to. That's the goal. I go into my day the same way everyone else should, okay? I do my morning prep for myself personally. That's maybe above and beyond everyone else's routine. And then I'm going to go listen to pre-market prep. He's going to narrow it down for me to maybe 6 tickers, maybe 8 tickers, whatever it is. And while I'm listening to his plans, I'm going, well, I like this one, I like that one, and I pick my 2 or 3. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, I can't be distracted.
You get focused. You take the ones that you like, the stories.
Some will run, some won't.
And you just position it. But you're got your planning. I mean, really, it's twofold, right? One or 3 parts: the planning, the execution on the entry. Let's just say, and actually, I think the whole trade is the execution, and then the patience to let your plan play out. Right, and that's where I think confidence comes a little bit in the saying that I have to believe that my plans are good. I have to believe in myself. And
trading to win, not trading to lose.
Yeah, right. And that whole thing about trade to win, people, because if you're trading to not lose, I can guarantee you're gonna lose
So
long run.
it, and me and you are still doing this whole confidence thing because
Here, let's just get into it. Let's just go into.
Let's talk about it, guys. If
tip
you
of the
get a
week.
franchise, you're paying. Let's say you pay a pizza place $300,000 to open a business. Okay, so you get their pizza business. They give you all the. Here's the machines you need to buy. Here's the sauces, the ingredients. Use our suppliers. They give you the recipe. Are you going to go in there and make your own pizza with a different recipe? What are you doing? Right? That's not what we're here for. Are you going to go in and go, I'm not going to use this system they have for checkouts, for all the delivery, everything that's, no, there's a process. They put it in. That's why you pay to be a part of it. Hey, we have something that works really freaking well. And when it does, you're going to absolutely crush it. That's the reality. On an average day, you're going to do 1% to 3%. When you're doing well, you're going to do well when you get run-ups.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because our entries
comes down to
our entries and our the between the entries and the levels, the risk reward multiples are insane. Like literally insane. Like we're talking, yes, we want to get paid at 3x, 5x our reward risk, right? But literally on the days like today, when the levels and the range are all there, the risk reward can be 50x, 100x, 20x. Right.
When you get good entries where you're only risking, say, $1, which would be like $100, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane what you can do.
But you gotta get good at that. And you also, I believe, just because you're risking $1, depending upon the product, doesn't mean that, hey, okay, I'm gonna risk $1, so I'm willing to risk $1,000. I think I can get in a great entry, and I'm only going to risk $1 on Amazon. And I'm like, hey, I can risk $1,000 of this. Am I going to take 10 contracts on Amazon? Because what can it do? It can rip you a new one, right? You can get it can move, and it'll move $5-10 against you, right? It can't, and you're going to be down 5 or 10 grand. So it's not just where you're doing that risk. You have to make sure that your sizing is appropriate to the product and the real risk, right? You think here's what your stop is, but it's a little bit of an art form.
Know your product. It's huge.
Yeah.
What's the slippage on SPY, Aaron? What would you get slipped on SPY?
I don't know. The SPX, they're probably like $1 or $2.
SPX $1 or $2. What about SPY?
I don't trade SPY.
So 3 cents, a cent, right?
I think
maybe.
I think on SPY probably about 12 cents, 8 to 12
I've
cents.
never got slipped that much. That's a lot. Wow.
When things start moving, like when they start really moving.
So what about Tesla? What do you think, Aaron?
I don't know. I don't play it enough. I've gotten burned because it plays differently than a lot of other tickers.
So I've gotten $3. I've gotten $3 on Tesla, where I had to stop and it flipped me about 3. So it's pretty decent.
Oh, I got hammered on that candle today on Tesla.
Did you?
Because I was way up. Remember, I nailed that short, right? I took the 700s at $5, and it got to 9 or 10, and then Kathy Woods bought some, and it went from $9 to $5.50 in one candle. I mean, I didn't lose, but I mean. It
happened with me with Google too. It's like, because sometimes the spreads are.
No, I'm sorry. I did lose because I added, and then I had to dig out of that hole.
Oh, and did you add more contracts?
Yeah, because it was working, and it was basically set up. Because remember that my thesis was that if this plays out, this is going to go 15, 20 to possibly as much as $60 to $100. And so I was like, okay. Yeah, it was like, to me, I was like, hey, I'm willing to risk this. But I gave back, a good portion of my morning gains because I had to protect my account because I did size, I did add. But it's fine. It's part of I was playing with profits. I wasn't playing with my account.
So, Aaron, what is confidence? Let's get back to this. What does confidence mean to you? And how does it impact your trading, good, bad, ugly?
Confidence. Okay, let's see. For me, is probably believing in, because I've been around for a while, I feel like, and it's crazy how sometimes I still make rookie mistakes, and that the rookie mistakes come from, it's all mental. It's all habits, how your brain is wired, familiarity, like revenge trading or just getting emotional. And for me, confidence is when I can take the emotions out. Like, say for instance, this morning, Amazon, when I saw what it was doing after the first 15 minutes,
Yeah.
I saw pattern, process, and what it was going to do, and I just entered it. And I didn't go in crazy size, with 50 contracts. Just I think it was like one or two contracts, and that's all you need. I mean, I think in 5 minutes the contracts, 10x them, just with one contract. So the mere fact that in my mind that if I played with very little contracts, I wasn't afraid to where I just get wiped out, with the wrong candle. And so changing my size, waiting for the right moment, entering it with the best risk reward, and then just having a stop and then getting out of my own way helped with my confidence. So go ahead.
This is the biggest thing, that one of my paradigm shifts I made that was like huge to me. That's not confidence. You're treating it like a business.
Yes, exactly.
I'm seeing my setup. This is what it is. I'm not letting any emotion overtake. So for me, I know good and bad. Like, I get overconfident and it's bad for me. I'll be calling Spectre going, I know I'm going to take an L. I'm doing way too good. Things are great. And then there's times when I'm like, I'm not trusting myself. Both those are emotions in my eyes. And I go,
yep,
I need to walk away for 10 minutes, decompress, take a breath, come back, because at the end of the day, it's my setup. What do I see that I like? What's the risk reward? Because it's math, right? Where are my levels, right? How's price action around them? Now, does it justify a trade or not, right? Does that trade meet my capital management system, my risk management for my account, right? All those things are, and that's how I know, for me, where confidence, good and bad, affects me. That makes sense?
Oh, yeah. No, it makes sense. The fact that, go ahead.
The question I have then for is that if you're following process and you have belief in your system, does confidence matter?
No, because no one cares about your confidence. I said this to someone the other day. I'm not going to mention who. Guess what? No one gives a fuck about your confidence. The market doesn't. The market makers.
Confidence.
This is where the debate comes in. So this is where I think it's great, right?
Your account's not going to grow because you're confident. Your account's not going to shrink because you're not confident. It's that no one cares. So don't worry about it. Focus on what you do well, which is, guess what? I know my process, and as long as I'm focused on that, hyper focused on it, right? What's important for me to succeed, which is I know I need to follow my risk management. I need to look for specific setups. I need to wait for my levels, PA, my entries, right? Everything that goes into what brings success to me from the 2-hour trading process that we've implemented.
So, what wrecks confidence, quote unquote? What wrecks your belief in the process?
Oversizing. And then getting hurt. That can
but then if you oversize, did you follow the process?
Nope. So I'm saying when you break rules,
right,
voluntarily,
right,
that's when it's a wreck.
So what's another example of when that happens? When you miss the entry and you chase it, and because you don't want to miss the move, but it's not necessarily the best risk reward anymore, and you get in. And then you're getting whipsawed around, right?
Yep.
And again,
instead of planning the trade, instead of you're reacting to the trade.
Exactly, right? So when you plan it out, and then you follow your plan, it doesn't. You don't. And then even if you lose,
Good. It's a good loss.
it's a good loss.
Yep,
It was.
yep.
I'm happy to take. Like, how many times do you hear me? I'm happy to take this loss
Yep.
if I'm wrong.
Yep, like say David today on that Amazon 2200 foot. It's like when I got into that, I didn't hear you cut out. I'll shut this cord out, but that is exactly what was going through my head. I was like, you know what? If this keeps going past 2200, I would be okay with the loss because I mean it's crazy. It already ran 150 points. You know, I bowed out to it. Like, all right, run another 50 points. But that was the best entry you could have for risk reward up to the reverse.
Right.
So the best plays are when you know this is where you should be in, and you get in and you do what you're supposed to do.
So then, but okay. So then, do you need confidence to do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to?
I think you just need Xanax because that pushes the confidence down a little bit, and it's just a robot.
He says I need Xanax. I mean, no, you don't. You don't.
You need Quaaludes, right?
Yeah.
That's a Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, no. So ask the question again. So you were saying confidence is an emotion. Do you need
Right.
emotion?
But
No,
do you
just
need?
follow the process.
Well, do you need? Does one need confidence to follow process?
I think you have to have confidence in the process.
But what
that-
shakes your
that-
confidence in the process when you're not following the process?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
What produces confidence? When you see something that works and you can trust it. So if you can see that the system actually works and the results produce what they produce, that leads to confidence.
Okay, so what is the definition of confidence? I'm sorry, I just Googled it to
Yeah,
share
I think
right? A belief or conviction that an outcome will be favorable.
Yeah.
Right?
I
So,
don't believe I know.
right. So then that's complete confidence. That's conviction.
I mean,
Not conviction in the trade, conviction in the process. Either way.
correct. That's what I mean. It's just I'm not.
Yes.
One trade doesn't bother me. That's what I mean. It's all such a bigger picture. I mean, in just when you look back statistically, I mean,
I know.
with my win rate where it is, I don't even. Oh God, my win
Sure.
rate could go down by over 50% from where it is currently, and I'd still be crushing it because of my risk reward.
Yeah.
That's how good the process is. That's the thing. And when I can go do that math, I don't even need to there's no need to worry about it or think about it. I just got to come look for what I do every day. When you think about the money, when you think about confidence, when you mess with yourself and overthink all these things, that's when I think you mess around, you oversize, you do this, you do that.
You're getting the wrong point. Like I love your analogy. You know, when you're getting in the streets instead of what's your street analogy?
So no, I'm just always like, hey, okay, so I just had a baby girl, right? If we were going out to play outside, would I teach her to play in the grass in the yard, maybe in the backyard? Or would I be okay with her in the front yard playing in the street in traffic, right? So when you're trading in between levels, right? You're trading in traffic. What are you doing with your money? You're asking for it to get ran over. Not giving away my money. You know what I mean? So don't play in traffic. Terrible entries, right? You don't want that.
Nope. It means
And then erection.
what you have to, for I think for the folks who are that aren't familiar with our process and how we trade, you have to come to the acceptance that you only need 2 to 4 trades a day. You don't need to be taking 20 trades a day, 50 trades a day, 100 trades a day.
Oh my God.
You know, stop paying
Just
those
one
commissions
trade
and those
today.
fees. Yeah.
One
took
trade, 35% account growth today. That's it. That's all I needed.
Mm-hmm. Great work.
And you didn't need to trade 3, 4, 5 different tickers. You just chose one that looked like it had a lot of range.
It was the right one, the right risk reward, made sense.
Yeah, and it was great. It worked out. So, you know,
And it's
so
not random. We do this all the time.
yeah. So I had lost my train of thought earlier about the confidence. Part of what we go through in our coaching or trading program is teaching folks why the levels work, right, or how the levels work, and that the process that we use, right. We spent months going over the data on the trades with the levels to figure it all out, and really the win rate is, and the reward combined with the win rate is ridiculous, right? And compared to the loss when we're wrong, it's like it's unbelievable. But I still have. But the point I'm trying to get at is that is what, when you're building a system and you don't, and something is new to you, it's kind of like, how do you get that faith that, hey, this process works, without seeing it if you're new?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the people who I talk to, what I say to them is, forget everything you thought, because don't worry about it. I want you to forget any old hat at the door. And don't trade big.
Mm-hmm.
Come learn, watch it. If you watch what we do for a week or two, your confidence will be there. You may not fully get it yet. It takes practice. It does, because you have to learn what we do, the process, right?
And you also have to get away from needing to be a part of every move or every trade.
It's huge,
right? Pick the ones that are going to be the best payers, and you can literally do a lot
sniper.
less.
I'm a sniper. I do not want to spray out there. I don't want to be shooting a shot. I don't want to be spraying for trades.
And minimize your time in the market. That's what's great about the 2
2
hours. And when you think about it, like literally today, both up and down happen within 2 hours.
The entry is in the work we're all in 2 hours, yeah.
Entry.
The work.
Because the downside entry was before the end of that 2 hours, and you could have just sat on it during lunch.
Yeah, I mean, the process, like everything that's been built in this thing has been to stack the deck in our favor. But you have to make a lot of personal changes if you're coming from trading before, because the way we do things is very different from the way a lot of groups do, a lot of folks do.
It's a shift. It's a shift of the way you trade, the thought process behind trading, right? Detaching it from what you're used to as just hey, this is my account, this is my 401k, whatever it is. This is a business, the way we trade.
Yeah.
You have to really get into that mindset, and you have to just dig in and love it.
So
love the process, love how we trade.
Yeah, I mean, so you've taken a series of losses. A person isn't following the process, let's just say, or you're new to, you're not in our group, or and so you don't know our process. But let's just say a person is taking a number of losses, and they've lost their confidence. They've lost their confidence in themselves. They've lost their confidence in trading. What tips do you guys have for getting that confidence back?
Me, one.
Yeah, what would you recommend, Aaron?
I would say, because I've had to do this multiple times. Disconnect yourself from the market for a couple days, for a week. Just like, don't even think about it. Then step back and figure out what were you doing wrong. When you have that awareness, gives you a little bit more insight. Maybe you gotta be aware of what's going on. You just be like, I'm just confused. I don't know what's going on. But for me, how I rebuilt my confidence anytime I was just in a rut, I look for setups that I was just convicted, that I love. The ones that are just easy that I can just see happening. I wait for those. And it could be days that go by that those setups don't happen. But I just sit on my hands and I just wait until I can get at least some wins. Because you have to get the wins to mentally, subconsciously rebuild that confidence back up. If you're just constantly losing and losing and losing, you're just digging yourself a hole, and it's really, really hard to get out of. I'm actually curious to hear how y'all came back from any of y'all's big losses, if y'all have had losses.
Everyone's had losses.
I've had some losses.
I was just asking. I knew you did.
I've had some huge losses.
I think for me, and I'm looking at it from not only myself, but a lot of when I'm talking to folks, right? The first thing I want to do, and I treat it the same way, whether it's me or for someone I'm coaching, right? I need to stop the hemorrhaging. So I try to analyze what's going on, right? Whether, let's talk about the trades, right? Like, remember when we were on, it's like, hey, let's talk through this. So I want to see what's going on with their trading. I want to look at whether it's my trading, am I over trading, what hours am I trading? I chart it again. Unfortunately, I go back and I chart. Like, I might chart a month's worth of trading. And then I'm going to say, what really went wrong? And hey, which few trades worked for me, right? And then on the ones that really went wrong, I start documenting. And I just put like what I'm seeing kind of over and over. And then I think, how can I prevent that? I try to think back on those days. I know like sometimes, let's say, I didn't sleep well, or maybe not feeling so well, feeling a little under the weather. I know I shouldn't be trading, right? And so I try to control that. But yeah, I think going small, focusing on the process, and just saying, hey, I don't need to trade every day. I need to trade right. What does trading right look like for me? Go back to the way we teach, which is through the process, right? A lot of people are oversizing, meaning they're not doing the pre-market prep in the work they need to in the morning to understand what should each trade for today look like for me in this account? What's my allocation? What's my risk, right? They need to understand that going into it. And when we're not doing that, we're kind of setting ourselves up for failure. So I think it goes into kind of centering ourselves to this is a business, shutting out any emotions, recognizing those flags, and then little wins. But by little, I don't mean taking $50 or $20. Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, celebrate when you make a good trade, meaning I planned it. The entry was good. I executed thoroughly, right? I took targets, all these different things that you can go, I treated that like a business. I didn't do the things I was doing before. And then pat yourself on the back and go, that's what's making it work.
So I'm going to add to what you said, which is going back and reviewing the trade after you executed the trades. Don't forget that step, because I think a lot of people just take trades, but they don't review, hey, how well did I execute on that trade? Right? Because it's kind of like same thing if you have a business, right?
And I'm crazy about it. By the way, I review all the charts for the product and the option contract I was in. Yep. Because it's so important to me that I'm charting that option contract.
Yeah. And not just that, I actually go
trading.
I actually go a step further, and because I'm always looking to see where I can improve, is also look at a couple of other different strikes to see, hey, could I have done something a little bit different that could have yielded me something better or more or worse, or, just to see, because it also helps me build my nuance, right? Like how many times have I said, just called out, hey, this is the price I want to get in. Like something might be $20 or $18, and I say, well, yeah, I want to kind of get in when it gets to $5, right? And it's because I've been looking at those charts, and I've plotted not just this chart, but I've plotted different strike prices on different contracts so I can get a feel.
Or the worst feeling is when you executed on the trade well, it went in your favor, but you chose the wrong strike price. Instead of making 10x, you only 3x'd it just because of the wrong strike price or the wrong contracts.
But is it really bad? Because if you 3x'd on $20 versus 10x at $2, still in that same game.
True.
Right. Your capital outlay might be a little
so
different.
Here, sometimes when I'm talking to people about that, there is a big thing there. Okay. Yeah. The question I always have is, was the risk reward set up properly? Right. So that's sometimes the question, because if you're getting 3 versus 10, depending on what target it is, you might not have set the risk reward properly, which means could be strike issue. It could be a contract issue, like you're saying. And that's what you need to kind of go through and analyze. And the only way to do it is to do the hard work. You know, we may trade 2 hours a day, but the amount of work that went into getting to here, it's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, and I was talking with another group member, and both of y'all mentioned a lot of things, and I know we keep using the word confidence. I think a big word that plays into confidence is discipline. Discipline is the key to confidence. Like if you can't show up and, like you said, treat it like a business, you know, you're just sort of wailing out there. If you're not following strict rules, like, man, it eats me. I think it happened a week or two ago when I was up XYZ because I executed right, but then my emotions got a hold of me throughout the day and I wasn't disciplined. I gave it all back plus more. It's the worst feeling when you overtrade or you break all these rules versus it's so nice when the first 2 hours you do exactly what you're supposed to do. Then you walk away and you go live life.
I mean, in some ways, I would say this: if you can be disciplined, you don't need the confidence.
No, exactly.
Right, because the discipline in the behavior. I mean, let me phrase that. If you have complete discipline, you move from having confidence or belief to it's almost kind of like a law. Right, it's almost inherent. It's not even a. This is where I think to David's point, right? It's not a function of confidence or conviction. It is just simply what is.
You remember what I keep on my desk, right?
Yeah.
The passage. That's what it is. When I came to terms with that.
What is it?
Why don't you read it for everyone?
Yeah, read it.
Oh, I got a baby in my hand. I got to read.
It should be here.
You got any other complaints?
Do you want to read it, Alyssa? You want to read it? Okay.
Hi, Alyssa.
I want to say trading in the zone. And it's on my desk. I have it highlighted. This is where professional traders really separate themselves from the crowd. When you accept the risk the way the pros do, you won't perceive anything that the market can do as threatening. If nothing is threatening, there's nothing to fear. If you're not afraid, you don't need courage. If you're not stressed, why would you need nerves of steel? And if you're not afraid of your potential to get reckless because you have the appropriate monitoring mechanisms in place, then you have no need for self-control. Once again, it's not about anything. You should be in straight. This is business. We talk about this, right? The first thing we do, what do I know? I need to know what's my capital allocation for the day? How much risk is there per trade? That's it. Now I'm done. There's my self-control, that's it. My mechanisms
self-control
are in place.
And make sure you're sizing appropriately, doing
really
everything
self-control.
else.
It's a mechanism because I wake up,
Well,
I do it. It's business.
Yes.
But I'm glad you explained what that meant, because when you kept on saying this is a business, there's a lot of people out there that have never ran a business or owned a business,
Very true.
you know, and so they don't understand what that means. What it means is really, it's like you gave the example with the pizza. You know, you're buying into a franchise. If you're buying into a process, it's a business. Treat it. Go through the steps and believe in it, and then just do it.
Yeah. I mean, every business is built on process, which is a sequence
It
of
is.
steps, really. And and as long as you're going through and doing what's already been defined,
Yep.
you're gonna be fine. It's just, you should be fine. And it's just when one literally all the confidence issues when you're breaking away, it stems completely from not following the process, not following a process, whether it's our process or or someone else's or their own that you've created. When a person gets into that situation, it's because they have stepped away from what they know to do is right.
And I'd like to read a message I wrote to a community member of ours who's a rock star. And it has to do with this. And it was just yesterday, actually. And it was just, you want? Thank you. Hold on one second, guys.
Bye, Alyssa.
Aw, bye.
It was basically, you do know your stuff. And it's easy for the confidence, because they were talking about confidence falling off and getting into a slump. So it's easy for the confidence to fall off. We have to remind ourselves we shouldn't lack confidence because of a prior fall. The prior fall could have been caused by a bunch of things, whether it's lack of self-control, oversizing, overconfidence, but ultimately it comes down to making sure you have discipline and controlling yourself, right? At the end of the day, even if you are overconfident, if you have rules that you abide by, operate your business within them, the means defined to manage risk, you will be successful. Your level of confidence won't matter. The market won't care, good or bad, where it is. The rules they will care about because you'll follow them. And it's true. Follow your rules, follow the process.
Absolutely.
Set up for your success.
Absolutely. Hey, great share, David. Thank you.
Very.
We've got a couple minutes left. Does anyone want to share anything before we wrap up? I want to personally say thank you, everyone, for coming and watching the show. I hope it was helpful. I hope that this leaves you with something to think about, that it will help you become a better trader. And if you're wanting to learn about our process, come check us out at edamomo.com/THT.
Looking forward to seeing everyone in the room tomorrow for a fun Friday, guys.
Yeah. I'm only be there for an hour. I'm going canoeing.
Oh, well, that's the whole point, to live life. So awesome. Send pics.
Yeah.
Definitely send pics.
I will. This is great, guys. We'll keep it up.
Okay, well,
All right.
thanks, everyone. And Aaron, thank you for coming and joining us. It's great to have you.
Thanks. Take care.
See you next week.
Okay.